Today, let's talk about grief. Grief is one topic that we tend to overlook a lot. Grief is when you're unable to process the loss of a loved one. Some people go into depression. Some people lose themselves in the process. Some people become a shadow of themselves. Some people totally withdraw to themselves, depending on what that person meant to them. And some people who spend their entire years crying. And people process grief differently. And it also depends on what the person meant to you and the circumstances of the person's demise. But there's one important thing that we forget when we grieve. I'm not saying it's wrong to grieve, it's okay to grieve. But while you are at it, the first question that should come to mind is this grief, is it for the person that has passed? Or is it always for our own selfish interest? Because in all cases, it's usually for our own interest. Because when you're asked, why are you crying so much? Why do you grieve so much? The answers will always be, if that person was here, they were this to you, they were that to you, you two were this or were that. That person used to do this or do that for you. That person used to fill a void in your life, or that person used to make some aspect of your life to work well. And you see that at the end of the day, the heart of man is still selfish, no matter how we want to look at it, no matter how we want to rephrase it, no matter the English we want to use. Our grief is usually for our own interest, not necessarily for the person who has passed. Because if you ask the person who has passed, they are always happy. Forget the circumstances for which the person had passed, the age for which the person has passed. If you ask them, if you had the opportunity to hear from them, they are always happy where they are. But because of our selfishness, we always want them around to do this and to be that. This world is temporary. The life we live in is temporary. Everyone you meet, your children, your parents, your colleagues, every single person is temporary. Me, you, all of us, we are living temporarily. It is necessary for us to be because of the experiences that we are supposed to have. And that loved one that has passed on had their contract. Each person has an allotted time on earth. The time to learn, to unlearn, to redeem. And for some persons, it could be a day. For some persons, it could be a year. For some persons, it could be years. But every one of us has an allotted time. And when that time comes, there is no addition or subtraction. Your passing will come to you depending on the circumstances that you agreed. Even though some persons come and make a wreck out of what they initially agreed, but they will still have to come back, because when you drop out of the school of life, you have to come back to complete it. You cannot cheat nature. So when our loved ones pass, there's this thing, there's this teaching in Islamic practice where people are being told not to cry when someone passes. Instead, they should pray. That practice is absolutely correct spiritually. When you go traditionally, when a king dies, you don't hear people talk about it. You only hear in whispers. And when you're caught talking about it, you will tell who told you, because it is a taboo to even say the king is dead or the custodian of the of the tradition is dead. You will always hear he has transitioned. He has gone to be with the ancestors. Because in truth, we don't die. This is only necessary for the experience. This body you have is only necessary for the experience. The real you does not die. This is not all that exists. There is something far more beautiful and more greater than this. The real you will live forever. The spirit is eternal. You can only go into disintegration where you lose your ego, all the years of experience. You lose that and start afresh, depending on how you've used your years of incarnation. So when you lose your loved ones, instead of crying, you should rather pray for them. Pray that they find a light. Because you may have known just the outer part of them. You may not have known what was within their hearts. And the things that they did when nobody watched, or the things that they thought when nobody could hear. And when you grieve, you cry so much. Do you know what happens to your loved one? You stop them from transitioning. It is selfish. I know a lot of people don't want to hear. They'll ask, if I don't cry, then what should I do? I remember when I lost my mom, a lot of people accused me of not loving my mother, my own mother, who sat and watched my infant head. That woman was one of the best things that has ever happened to my entire existence. He was more than a woman. He was more than a mother. And someone would think that I didn't love my mother just because I did not wail